Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts, and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin market as usual on Mondays. So in general, market shows nice upward performance. We've already talked about this last week. And in general, the background around the dollar rivals, so Bitcoin also trades against the dollar, becomes better. So those of you who are watching for our vehicle reports on the gold market, on the Forex market, probably know that, because in this week we have spent a lot of time and discussion on what's going on the sentiment in the market, what the expectation stands around the Fed policy, and the recent statistics that we've got in last week on the CPI numbers and the Michigan sentiment shows, or at least it makes investors to doubt a bit and starts thinking that maybe indeed the Fed is right. So because it seems that the inflation is sailing right now, so reaching some sail, because CPI numbers were lower than expected. Michigan sentiment also have decreased, so consumer sentiment becomes not as positive as market suggested. And this makes Fed to feel a bit free, take some breath in the decision on the tapering and the rate decision. So a new sentiment in the market based on the polls of the big banks suggests that the announcement of the tapering is postponing. So we probably will not hear anything in the Wyoming meeting, and probably no tapering announcement will be in the September meeting of the Fed. So currently expectation stands around November. Now the turning points, the vital point stands on the non-farm payroll release in September. So everybody will take a look at it. It's build big stakes, big bet stands around it, because weaker than expected non-farm payroll release, weak wage inflation definitely will tell you that we should not expect the steps from the Fed too soon. That in turn will support as a Bitcoin, as a stock market, especially as you know, the new stimulus packs now stands in discussion in Congress. Some of them already have been approved. So infrastructure bill was approved, as you know. So all this stuff supports the dollar rivals and makes pressure on the dollar. So on this background, you can see that we have the positive view on Bitcoin, and even from the technical point of view, we already mentioned the grabbers on the monthly chart, the volatility breakout that we have talked about through the previous year, that with the rally that has happened on the Bitcoin, this is definitely a volatility breakout. And usually after that, market shows very strong return after retracement. So retracement now stands in place, and we are watching for this return. As a minimum pullback, we see target around 53 area, the 618, 52.53, 618 resistance of the whole downward direction. This was the minimum target, but the grabbers that we have on the monthly chart suggest that market should take it out at the stop. So in general, overall look stands positive on the Bitcoin. But in the shorter term, you can see the major barrier currently that we should pay attention to is the weekly overbought area. So market hits the overbought, and that puts some barrier for market to immediate appreciation. Besides, this is actually first upward action after the strong downside collapse. And the bearish momentum that we see here still stands in place and should be faded by the price action. Usually it happens when the market shows deep retracement. So the rest of the momentum is fading here, and then market freely could start acceleration. So that's the typical price action, how market should behave. This is just the nature of the market behavior, and sooner or later, but this pullback, some retracement should happen. So these two factors makes us think that currently at this point, this is not the good point for taking the new long position. So especially if you intend to accumulate your long-term positions, it will be better to wait for a pullback. Even without possible momentum here, standing at the weekly overbought area is not comfortable for taking the long position. So that's the major conclusion that we could make on the current situation. On the daily chart, we do not see some overbought or something of that sort, but at the same time, market stands at very important fib level. This is 618 resistance, 48 approximately. This market hits previous week, and take a look at starting from the very important moment when the sell-off has started. So this is important fib level. This market now is struggling with it. So now we have the combination of the fib level and weekly overbought, and this combination calls by the chart framework as a bearish stretch pattern. So usually this is counter trend pattern. It usually suggests some pullback out from this level. Pullback could be very gradual, choppy, because it stands against the major trend. Trading of this setup is very, very big challenge, and it's tricky because you're taking position against the major strong tendency, and it's not suitable for everybody. But the advantage of this pattern is that it brings some clarity on the perspective that probably we should get some pullback. And this is very important for those of you who are searching chance to take the position, long position on Bitcoin. Based on the natural support area, it seems that level around 41, 42, it should be a very nice opportunity for taking the position. At least market should reach it at least. Some chance exists that it will be deeper retracement because after the first reversal swing up, usually market shows deeper retracement, 50% or 618. But in the current environment, in the new sentiment on the market, new expectations from the Fed, maybe this effect might be muted. So first, I would consider still 30% pullback somewhere to the 41, 42 area. So that was what we talked about previously as well. On the lower time frames, we do not have some special trading setup. So on the hourly chart, we are mostly watching for this ABCD target. This is important for those of you who are not just accumulating the coins for a long-term investment, but also make some trading. And the nearest target stands at the 51 approximately. As you can see, it's OP, AB equals CD target. Also, it's interesting that this level coincides with the major fib resistance that we are talking about as the minimum target of the long-term chart. So if you calculate the fib level from the absolute top here, you'll see that it stands 51. So this our A, B, C bottom OP target creates an agreement with the major 618 level. That potentially great area to consider for taking the short position for scalp traders. Because also take a look, that's will be natural resistance as well. So previously it was a support. Here this market tested a few times. Now when the market returned at the cup here, it will be resistance. So for a short-term trading, that might be the opportunity to go short. But this is currently is not very important because we are not there yet. So speaking about the retracement that we are talking, since because of the daily weekly overbought and daily fib level. So with the downside action, as I said, 41, 42 area and retesting with the previous top seems logical. On the hourly chart, we have some support areas right around these levels. So first level that we have is a confluence support 43, 30, 44. So the first destination point of market will start to pull back. Next one will be the major 618 support of the most recent swing up. It stands around 41.50 approximately. So it coincides mostly with the previous top, the P point of the follow time from chart right here. So it will be a nice area to consider. Well, that's what we see currently on Bitcoin. Since market is not started yet the downward action, we can't calculate definitely the targets because we do not know what the shape market will take, but what patterns will be formed. Maybe it will be straightforward A, B, C, D pattern. Maybe it will be some kind of the hand and shoulders here to be formed before downward reaction will start. We will see. But the one thing that we could say is that it makes sense to wait for some pullback because of reasons that we have mentioned. And definitely currently at the weekly overbought, it's not right place for taking the new long position, especially if you intend to hold it for the long term. So it would be better to wait for some retracement and take the position at a better level.